Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of the most highly rated Mario games among Nintendo fans. Some even say it's the best 2D Mario game, although to be fair, that's not exactly hard to do, all things considered. But ignoring that, what if I told you Super Mario Bros. 3 is not the best 2D Mario game, and I wouldn't even rank it in my top 5 favorite Mario games? Now that's a pretty outrageous statement to make, but I came to this realization as I was writing down notes for this review. It's still a fun game, but what holds it back for me from putting it on the pedestal the community has? Well, let's jump in and find out. I want to make one thing perfectly clear before getting into my reasoning about why Mario 3 is not in my top 5 Mario games. It's still a solid game that deserves attention, but I do feel it gets a little too much praise. Mario 3 used to be my favorite 2D Mario game, and was even in my top 5 Mario games at one point, but a few elements stuck out to me more than they have before. Let's stay positive though, because this game innovated the way 2D Mario games are played today. First off, the gameplay is back to the original style Mario 1, thank God. You can now jump on enemies to defeat them again, but there are a few quality of life changes that make the experience smoother. You can now tell how fast Mario is running by the P meter in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Also, Mario can now grab shells in certain blocks by holding down the run button. The biggest change, however, is the overworld map. The layout of these maps allow you to choose from branching paths. Now, you don't have to complete every level in the game, but you'll mostly just skip 1 or 2 levels. Playing through levels is not the only activity to do on the overworld map. There are a few minigames scattered throughout each of the worlds. One of them has you match up 3 rows of the appropriate power-up. Matching them up can grant an extra 2 to 4 lives. Most of the time I have trouble on these, but for some reason I was pretty lucky this playthrough. 99% of my attempts usually end up looking like a hamburger or a flower with 2 legs. A memory card game also makes an appearance. Matching up cards will give you rewards like coins, extra lives, and even power-ups. That's right, you can now save power-ups and overworld items to use whenever you want on the map, and there doesn't seem to be a limit to how much can be carried. These new items include a whistle that blows you away to another world of your choice, a hammer that destroys boulders and opens up new paths, a cloud that allows a player to skip levels, and a music box that puts enemies running around the overworld to sleep. Running into these enemies normally initiates a battle, and defeating them awards Mario with extra items and power-ups. Another new addition is the toad houses scattered throughout each world. Entering them will allow you to choose a box, which gives you a random power-up. Classic Mario power-ups all return in this game, along with 5 new ones that complement Mario's movements. The new power-ups include a super leaf that grants Mario the ability to fly when the P meter is full. A variation of this ability is the Tanuki suit. This also allows you to fly for a limited amount of time, but a new ability can be activated by pressing down on the B button. This will make Mario become a statue that cannot take any damage from enemies. The broken form of the super leaf is the P-wing that pretty much breaks almost every level in the game. This ability automatically gives Mario a full P meter, and he can fly in the air for as long as you continue to hit the B button. It's great for any challenging or auto-scrolling levels. While the P-wing is useless in underwater levels, the frog suit makes them tolerable. This power grants full directional control underwater. Yes, Mario can actually swim for once instead of just swimming upward only. On land, the power-up sucks, since Mario hops like a frog and doesn't actually run. The best power-up in the game is without a doubt the hammer suit. This thing can kill almost any enemy on screen by throwing hammers, including the newly introduced boos and thwomps. Ducking also allows Mario to avoid taking damage from certain projectiles. It's rare to find this ability, which makes sense given how powerful it is. I used to love the amount of power-ups in Mario 3, but most of them feel gimmicky now. As funny as the frog suit is, there's no real point to using it aside from water levels. The Tanuki suit functions the same as a super leaf but with an added ability, and if I'm being honest, most of these power-ups make the game easier than it already is. However, this is also due to the level design. Every world has a set theme the levels play off of, like World 2's desert theme. There's a lot of quicksand and blocks built up like pyramids. The sun even chases after you. World 3 is filled with water levels, but most of them don't actually have you go underwater like Mario 1. Instead, you'll be jumping on platforms to avoid touching the water and from being eaten by big bass. Underwater levels do make an appearance, but it's not as annoying as the original. World 4 is my favorite out of the 8 worlds because of its gimmick. Everything is giant compared to you, and in one level you can switch between big and small enemies. World 4-2 is a remake of World 3-3. which has a small cheap chase after Mario instead of Big Bass. World 5 is sky-based, which means a lot of bottomless pits to avoid, but it starts you out on the ground for the first half of the world. World 6 is my least favorite out of the bunch due to it being full of ice levels. At least it has the most overpowered ability in the game. World 7 is made up of pipe mazes. Toward the end of this world is where I started to notice a difficulty spike, and World 8 just skyrockets in difficulty. This sudden difficulty is noticeable because of how easygoing the rest of the game was until this point. This is most likely due to the levels being significantly shorter compared to Mario 1. Worlds no longer have only 4 levels in them. The minimum amount of levels in a world is around 6 in the beginning, but it easily goes over 10 in the later half of the game. More levels can be a good thing, but in Mario 3's case, I don't think it is. It's easy to blaze through levels, which makes them feel incomplete. World 3 is the best example of this with its underwater levels. You rarely run into enemies in these things, and it leaves you saying, "That was it?" It sucks when a level starts to get interesting and then ends abruptly. This isn't to say the levels are poorly designed, I just wish they were longer. One design element I wish wasn't added to this game are auto-scrolling levels. It's weird going through a level at my own pace and then shifting to a level restricting my speed. The new airships at the end of each world are the worst offenders of this. Most of the airships focus on avoiding projectiles instead of platforming, but World 8 combines both, which makes it one of my least favorite worlds to play through. In my Mario 1 review, I said it was fun running through levels as fast as I can, but shortening them doesn't make it fun to beat them quickly. The best level designs come from the castles. These levels have more fleshed out ideas compared to normal levels, and they are not too long or too short. It's faster paced when needed, but it knows when to slow the player down to focus on precise jumps. Not all of them are great, as some still suffer from being too short. A small amount of them are also trial and error courses, which artificially extends the length of them when in reality, they're shorter than the average level. One minor problem Mario 1 had was Bowser being the boss at the end of each world. This is remedied in Mario 3 because Bowser is no longer the only boss. He now has his underlings, the Koopalings, to take over the entirety of the Mushroom Kingdom by turning everyone into dopey-looking creatures by using the magic rod held by the monarchs of each world. Can we take a second to realize this game is the only Mario game to mention royalty aside from Peach? Anyway, he also hired Boom Boom, who is the least threatening boss in any Mario game, which makes the game even easier! Just what Mario 3 needed! This applies to the Koopalings as well. They all only need 3 hits to take out, and with the right timing, they can't even get a hit on you. The Koopalings do change their strategy, like Morton causing an earthquake making Mario unable to move, Wendy who throws rings at you, and Lemmy who throws bouncy balls at you. At least they change it up, which is more than I could say for Mario 1 and Mario 2. Overall, the game is easier than its predecessors. Hey, I see you there in the corner. I see you, Lost Levels. Get on out of here, nobody likes you. One aspect I will praise the game on is its updated presentation. Mario 3 shows off what the NES was capable of at the end of the console's life. All the colors are brighter and all the sprites have more detail and cleaner animation. The new music is as catchy as ever, and certain songs even get reused in the later new Super Mario Bros. Series, because nothing says new like rehashing old music. I did notice a few graphical hiccups. I recorded this footage off the NES Classic, and one issue I noticed is the screen flickering on the right and left side. I'm not sure if it's due to the emulation of the NES Classic, but it can be distracting. Slowdown does happen as well when there's too much action on screen, but it's a rare occurrence. It sucks that playing this game again made me look at Mario 3 differently. I used to hold Mario 3 to such a high prestige, but not so much anymore. I remember having so much fun with this game, and I never cared about the shorter levels, the power-ups feeling more like gimmicks, and the overall easy nature of the game. It's only natural, I guess. Taste change as time goes on, and I like a little more challenge in my platformers nowadays. But maybe I just played this game so much that I'm used to it. Despite this though, I still had fun playing Mario 3. This was a relaxing playthrough unlike Mario 1 and 2, which is why I think this game is a good starting point for anyone who's interested in the franchise. Now I wonder how I'll feel about playing Super Mario World again. It's actually another game I constantly pick up and play, but never thought about it too much in a review-esque mindset. But what I do know is, I'm just some random guy on the internet who decided to review every mainline Mario game.